Hello, and this is Ines Simpson of the Simpson Protocol. And today we're going to interview Christoph Dirks. And he's from Zandhoven in Belgium. And he teaches in Belgium and Holland. And he speaks English very well, so I can really give him a good going over. So, Christoph, maybe you can give us a little background on yourself and how you came to hypnosis.
Well, thanks for having me. Don't know whether my English is that good, but let's see. In any case, I started hypnosis because I was quite ill. In my 20s and 30s, I'm a little bit older now, a little bit more gray. I developed sleep apnea, and in the morning I was even more tired, more feeling like a disaster as the night before. And to make a long story short, because of trainings in NLP, trainings in hypnosis, and finally in the Simpson protocol, I was able to let go of my sleep apnea. And because I was quite happy and surprised and realized that I developed the sleep apnea and I was the one who has let it go, which made a huge impression in my life. And that convinced me to understand, well, okay, if I can do this, if I can make myself sick, if I can heal myself, maybe I can guide other people so they can understand also they have the key to success. It's only you who can deal with your own shit.
That's right.
So that was kind of interesting. So that's why back then I was still involved in finance and commodities trading internationally. So I had quite a different background of economics. And at a certain moment, the people of the company where I was working for, they asked me to become a partner of the company. And I declined, and they were all surprised. And I said, well, I will stay 2 years, and after that, I will start my own business and become a hypnotherapist. And they all started to laugh and make jokes, but I meant it. So I said, well, basically, you have 2 years to find another person. I will train the other person, whoever it is. But after 2 years, I will be gone. And after 1 year, they still didn't hire another person. And I said, well, remember, clock is ticking. You still have another year, but by the end of December, I will be gone. And then slowly they started to hire another person in August, I think, and I trained him. And December was my last day, and I left, and I never went back. They all assumed after a few months I would come back, and I never did. So I had zero customers, nothing at all, and I just started to work.
Yeah.
And I kind of remember when I did the training of the Simpson protocol, the Monday after the training, I was still helping people because I had my other work. I was just practicing. And this guy came in the first Monday. He already had booked the session, and he was an alcoholic. And I remember myself sitting there on the chair with my book on my knees. Guy went in trance, and I just went through from A to Z through the booklet. And afterwards, I emerged him, said, "How do you feel?" And he says, "Wonderful." He paid me a little bit of money, and he went off. But I had no idea what the impact was. So half a year later, his sister booked an appointment with me. In the meantime, I was already working for myself. And his sister said, well, I'm the sister of blah, blah, blah. You probably don't know me, but I'm here because you made a huge impact on the life of my brother. Basically, his marriage was broken. The kids, there was violence at home. There were really nasty things going on. And after the session you did with my brother, it was all harmonious. My brother has his family back. The sons, they have their father back. His wife has a new partner. And I was sitting there saying, wow, wow, how amazing. And it was kind of, yeah, interesting for me also to have feedback, because once the client has left, you have no idea what's going on. And I'm not a person who is calling my clients after a week or so to find out how it's going. Neither do I send out emails to follow up. I had just no idea. So that has made a huge impression and confidence, because I knew after the training I was just sitting there a little bit nervous with my book on my knees and just follow.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really interesting. So that kind of blew me off. So early on, I started to adapt the Simpson protocol, and I knew it was quite impactful and important. And yeah, just started to work with it.
So, what do you think of SP when you first started, first training? What is your first thought of it?
Well, it's quite a holistic approach. I had the experience of doing several trainings, and I knew when I watched you on YouTube many years ago, I thought, well, the spiritual aspect and this idiomotoric signals, that's kind of interesting. And I was already thinking, if you're able to connect to a wisdom, and
Yeah.
you could ask questions from the perspective of the wisdom, and the wisdom can answer the question, I think, wow, because we just don't know what we don't know. And that kind of blew my mind, but it kept on going on in my head. It was really interesting. And so for me, the holistic part of doing therapy is doing nothing and just rely on something which actually knows what is best for me as a hypnotherapist, but also for the client.
Yes.
And that was kind of 180 degrees thinking different
Yeah.
as the trainings which I followed before, which I took before. A student of mine says, well, this is vacuum cleaning. You go vacuum clean in the left corner of the room, and then in the right
Yeah.
corner, and then in the other one. And after an hour, you just clean the whole room.
Yeah. It's funny. It's holistic, and people say, "Well, I don't like the spiritual aspect, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. I don't believe in it." And I said, "Well, too bad, but it's part of it because everyone has those parts.
Exactly.
If they don't like it,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's
And I remember people coming in the office were 100% convinced that energy is not that it doesn't exist. Entities. Whoa, what a joke. And they just come in, they sit, we do an induction, we start working, and suddenly they're experiencing something weird, which their rational mind cannot they have no idea what's going on. So all their beliefs of what is life, what is a human being, they shift. And it's kind of important for us also as a guide in the process after the session to take care of those people, because they suddenly know something else is going on, because they just had a chat with who knows who. And then they go home and they tell their wife or they tell their friends, and people can't believe it, but they know it is the truth because they have experienced it, and it was safe, and it was benevolent, and it made a huge impact on their beliefs and on their actions.
Yeah.
So that's kind of impressive, I would say.
Yeah. Wow. I don't see what I got to ask you here. When we get sidetracked. Okay, what type of person or profession benefits the most by learning SP? In your opinion, I mean, just.
Well, I think the hypnotists are still the main focus group. Nowadays, slowly it's also going to other people who do holistic work, like meditation experts or Reiki masters or whatever. But I still think there's a lot of hypnotists on the world who need a better education, who can open up their mind, their possibilities, because they are actually quite good at hypnotizing people and already making change work. And I'm convinced that if they learn how to connect with the superconscious mind or use this holistic approach, that they can benefit and do even greater good. So from my perspective, I kind of think there is huge potential with the hypnotists.
No, I agree. But I think that those other people, from my teaching, when I teach with them, some of them were in the course by chance. They hadn't told me they weren't a hypnotist. And I found them much easier to train because they only had to learn. They didn't have to unlearn some of the hypnosis stuff that they learned. But so I thought it was quite fun. And this person was a nurse and she was really good. My God, she was good. And then it just kept going. And I just added one or two people. And I said, no, well, I think we'll open it up to those people.
Yeah. I mean, if people are motivated to learn, all they need is a plan from A to Z, what to do, and we can provide that plan. We can provide the outlines, and then they need an environment in which they can practice and start working. So the combination of their motivation, the good plan, and the environment is a success story. That's the reason why the Simpson protocol is still alive and globally present. I mean, even in China, people are using it. People in Europe, all over the place. And it doesn't matter. Once you know how it works, even a client who lives in New Zealand can be helped with by a person who lives in Canada. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. So I think there's huge potential even in business, applying SP in enterprises, even in sports. There's huge potential also for the people who use the Simpson protocol in a practice. There's so much potential. There's enough work.
Yeah, there is. So what can you tell us some of the things you've covered in your practice since you started working? Just a few.
Well, the most fun sessions, I think, are working with pregnant women. I mean, helping pregnant women and connecting their little child, and they just can feel the love between both of them. That's just amazing. And I'm convinced, I know with the work we do that we can help the baby in the beginning of their life so they are born worthwhile from the
Yeah.
very beginning. So that means those babies eventually they grow up and they take a position in our society that in 20, 30 years, those people will become our dentists, lawyers, bakers, politicians. I mean, imagine that if you are served in a shop by someone who feels worthwhile.
Mhm.
That's a completely different ballgame. And I'm convinced that this is a piece of the puzzle which our society needs in order to evolve. So those sessions, I just know, is an investment in my own well-being if I'm age and become an old person.
Like me?
No, older, much older. Eventually, I end up and need help. So it's also a contribution for my own well-being
Yeah.
in
But
society as a person in the coming years.
I'm glad you brought that the birthing program for us is definitely not about, I mean, it's definitely about that, giving no pain and all that stuff, but we also cover the family and the getting together, and everybody gets tied together in the
You
family.
know, someone who feels worthwhile, they will not kill another person. They will not rape another person. So this ripple effect is huge. And it's our contribution to society.
I agree.
Yeah.
Might so there's different aspects. I mean, if you're not into birthing people, that doesn't matter. You can still do everything else. But I'm glad that is one of your main goals.
It's not a main goal, but those sessions are so fun. And you know, helping people. If someone comes in, and I've built quite a reputation helping people with autoimmune diseases, cancers, I just start working, not knowing what's going to happen, but start from scratch. See what is the root cause of this problem,
Hmm.
and maybe teach them how to deal with pain, teach them also self-hypnosis in order to support them in their own process. And the outcomes have been wonderful. If if someone believes and is motivated, there's still room for improvement. I just and gives me a chance. I just start to work. And as I told before, the Simpson protocol is just me leaning backwards and trusting the process and just do whatever there needs to be done. I don't need to know where it comes from or how it should be treated. The system will take it over, and the best medicines are inside of our own physical body. We can only work with motivated people.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
there's lots
because
of
they
people
do the
who,
work. What they
of
understand.
course, but
you know,
The only thing we can do is educate people, and hypnosis is such a dumb word. There's
it is.
people are scared and blah blah blah. If I
It's
would start all over again, if I wouldn't teach hypnosis, I would get rid of it, of my website, of my communication, and I would say something else. But hey,
well,
I
that's what I think
and
too. I sort of started hypnosis, but this isn't hypnosis as such. As it's very open, it's very much more so than any other hypnosis that I came across. But maybe I'm wrong. But it makes it very easy for us to do the work, and it isn't necessarily considered hypnosis. But I really have to thank all the people that came in front of me that gave me that knowledge,
mm,
right? Like Jerry Kine, or
absolutely.
we go
We, we,
on.
we we can only see this far because we stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah,
I mean, there's always evolution.
that's right.
Jerry Kine was trained by Elman, and you were trained by Jerry, and I am trained by you. So that means I have the benefits of the experience of you, of
Yes.
Jerry, and of Elman. It
Yeah.
continues, and it all becomes more and more. The process becomes more and more smoother and easier.
Yeah. And
Mm.
before, when they first started hypnosis, it was they were trying to manipulate people. They'd put them in a trance, and then they'd say, "You do not do this, you do not do that." That's very beginning. And then they started to rephrase hypnosis things. And so it means that we at this time in 20 years, we'll look at what we used to be.
Absolutely, we are early adapters of a new system,
Yeah.
and I still believe that in somewhere in the future, people will look back and say, why didn't we do this
I
earlier?
know, I know. And why didn't we believe that? No, that's
Yeah.
nothing. It isn't what we're capable of. We're capable of taking in so much new stuff.
Yeah, and the good thing on the Simpson protocol is that it is you can apply it together with all the stuff you already know.
That's right.
The last trainings there, I have seen a lot of acupuncturists and manual therapists like chiropractors, and they have fun because they already know the physical body, but now they are also learning the mind, and they know the root cause why the physical body is in pain.
Yeah.
So they can apply both of them,
Yeah.
which is wonderful.
Yeah.
It's also new now. This chiropractic is doing group sessions online, as in a self-hypnosis workshop, and once in a while they still show up in the brick and mortar office to have a physical manipulation, and in the meantime they have this self-hypnosis treatments or group sessions treatments. I mean, that's new.
Yeah.
10 years ago it didn't exist. So that's also an evolution.
It is.
And
Everything that's affected by it is going ahead.
yeah, and those people are really satisfied because they say, well, now when a client comes in quite regularly, for example, with the chiropractic, and you have this vertebra which is always the same vertebra which hurts, they can't. They can do wonderful things, but every single time they have to do the same manipulation. Now they can put the client into a trance and ask the superconscious, look, let's all be honest here. what is the root cause of this typical vertebra item, and fix it, or let the client fix it on their own. Heal the emotion, heal the root cause, and they are happy because they originally started their profession to help people.
Yeah.
And now they were already quite effective, but now that they know the mind and they can join forces with the super conscious mind, they're even better in their job.
Yeah.
And I think those who adapt and allow change for the good, they will rule.
Yeah, and I like that. The chiropractors I know use some of this. They don't become hypnotherapists. They add it into their plan, like they have. And
Absolutely.
I think it's very important because they just evolve their chiropractic system so much.
They already believe energy. They
Yeah,
know the concept.
yeah,
They just know that emotions are impacting, or stuck emotions are impacting the physical body.
yeah.
So in the beginning of this interview, we started what kind of
Yes,
professions do you think will benefit most? Well, that's another group which is still quite new. So I think we also have something to say to the chiropractists, to the acupuncturists.
to massage therapists,
Yeah, absolutely.
everyone.
And that's not because you should only do hypnosis and leave your chiropractic practice as it is. No, it's it's a combination of using the best of both worlds.
That's right.
And hasn't that been evolution?
Yeah,
I mean, a disruption always comes from a different sector. Apple didn't invent the computer. The computer was already there. But nowadays we are using a computer as a phone. I mean, Apple disrupted the whole phone industry. How crazy is that?
yeah,
Even the computer industry is now disrupting or disrupted the music industry. It always comes from a different angle. And if you don't allow change, if you don't allow yourself to be honest, can this be an improvement for my business? You will become obsolete. So also we have to embrace change.
we have to embrace it. It continues to evolve continuously.
It's for all people, all businesses.
But it's
And
just life. You think change, that's the only thing that never changes, is that things change.
yeah, but for most people, change is uncertain, and they kind of dislike uncertainty. Our brain is not wired to deal with uncertainty. And that's probably why most people don't like the idea how we work. But that doesn't mean it's not the truth. I mean, what we do is honest, it is benevolent, and it is actually working.
Yeah.
I'm not paying advertised. I don't use paid Facebook and YouTube ads and whatever is out there. I'm just old school, and people come to me word by mouth, or mouth. How do you call it?
Yeah, word of mouth.
Word of mouth. Yeah,
Yeah.
just people chat and say, well, if you have a problem, go to this crazy guy. It seems to work. I mean, if it doesn't work, people will not show up anymore in my practice.
Yeah.
If it's not effective, hypnotherapists won't sign in our trainings. there is a reason why globally people continue to take the Simpson protocol training. It must work. Otherwise, why bother? We are all human beings. I mean, you know me now for many years. I've always been rational.
Yes, I remember the first training. You were very
extreme in the beginning.
Yeah,
but I was motivated.
Yeah,
I couldn't grasp the idea of some items, but I was motivated. And because I've done so many sessions, every single time my mind blows up. And what is this session? This is people started to channel in my session about environmental advice, how to use new technologies. Crazy stuff happened. People I remember a session that physically surgically something was removed, and after a few weeks they said, well, it's okay, it's the body has regrown the body part, not a leg, but inside, which was cut away. It has regrown. I mean, how is this possible? So my rational thinking has given up. I have no idea how it's possible, but it seems to be the truth, because people are giving me feedback with these wonderful things. One day, an older client, she was here for I think 2 sessions, so she had her anchor words. So she was able to go in trance by Peace Deep High, and she rang me and said, "Oh, Christophe, my left leg is paralyzed, and I don't have a lift. I live in an apartment. Really difficult for me. So can I book an appointment? But I have to go back to someone because I need a driver. I can't drive my car." I said, "You know what? Give me a call back and take a headset. You know,
earbuds or whatever. Yes.
Earbuds. Yeah. Go lie on your bed. Call me back when you have your earbuds." A few minutes later, she called me. I said, "Okay, go to Peace. Say with your voice, yes, if you're there. Blah, blah, blah." She went in trance, made the connection with superconscious mind, and asked, "Okay, can this be settled?" Said, "Yes." "Okay, I have no idea what needs to be done, but just do it and let me know with the voice." And you say it, superconscious mind. You use the voice. You convince. And once it's okay, it's okay. And after a few minutes, I said, "Yes, I'm back." So what happened? "Well, I can move my leg again, and the pain is gone." How wonderful is that? In a few minutes. And I think in the meantime, I was cooking. So I was actually at home cooking dinner and helping this other person who had a left leg which was paralyzed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impossible.
Yeah.
She went to the doctor, she had a scan, she had this and that. No one could help her. And in 2-3 minutes, she could use her leg again by phoning to me, and I was cooking in the meantime. I mean, this is, if you tell these kinds of stories, people think, well, you are nuts. You have to go to the psychiatry. But I mean,
happen quite often.
It's incredible. So at a certain moment, you just give up with your rational mind and you just, well, okay, I'm just open for the idea. And if anyone has a problem and I can guide them, they still have to do the work. But if I can do this while I'm cooking, I mean, this is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Oh, yeah.
I don't usually start by telling people that we have these things happen, but they happen continuously as we train new people. They find this happens and they go, how
I
come? How
mean,
can we do this? And I said, well,
it's,
you're
there's
doing
so much evidence in the meantime, after so many years, the evidence piles up and you just can't ignore it anymore.
it. Mm.
It's out there.
Yep.
And that's why people continue to show up in our office. That's why students continue to show up in our trainings.
Mm-hmm.
Because it works, period.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
I'm going to throw this sheet away. So much my questions are sort of all mingled up in there. So I think we've covered just about everything. You got anything else to say?
Just give it a try.
Yep.
If you're listening to this or watching this interview and you're interested as a client, wherever you live, I mean, we work all over the globe. Give it a try. And if you're interested in taking the training, feel free. If you don't like it,
Yeah, we got lots of, if one trainer doesn't ring your bell somehow, you're very good at it. But if anywhere they are in the world, there's usually somebody close by that does it online. So they can get it
online,
everywhere.
live, we covered it all.
Yeah.
Most languages. I mean, the possibilities are there. If you are motivated to take a training of the Simpson protocol, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. We will provide you with a plan from A to Z, and we will provide you with the environment. And on a safely manner, we will teach you and guide you through the process. That's our job. The only thing you need is motivation.
Yeah, that's
We
all
can help you with that. But if you want to have more success, give it a chance. There is a reason why thousands and thousands of people are using it.
Okay. On that note, I think we're going to end the conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
So if people want to reach out for me, maybe they can send an email or so to info at no, let's give the other one. Christoph at bquantummind.com, and that's more international. Christoph at bquantummind.com.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Okay.